Hey everybody, this is Kohdok here, and welcome to a little experiment I am trying called KohXtra. Now, a lot of people out on the YouTubes, they have a channel specifically for fun, random stuff that they do, so that the almighty algorithm is not upset by putting it on their main channel, and I figured I'd try it too. So, let's have a bit of fun, and today we are going to be talking about Age of Sigmar Stormbringer. So, a while ago I did a video about Warhammer Imperium magazine. I still have a copy of issue 6 all nice and sealed here with the aggressors and the pot of paint in here. So Warhammer, as a lot of you know, is a very expensive hobby, and what Warhammer Imperium was sort of a piecemeal way to get into the hobby with some pretty steep discounts on the set. I liked it a lot. It got a lot of value, especially out of a lot of the early issues, and now we are coming back around to doing the Sigmar version. Only, the thing is, this time, we know everything that's going to be in the Sigmar-based sets, because Games Workshop and Hachette were actually really forthcoming with it this time. They don't like people are going to be making calculations anyway, so might as well be honest on what's inside. Although, I am going to be using our good friends Fohammer to help us out with all of this to figure out, because they have, you know, the big compiled list of everything inside, so we're going to be looking at that. I personally think that I like these magazines a lot. They are a good way to get into the hobby fairly inexpensively. I know they occasionally have dud issues, like ones that are only paints inside, but Stormbringer, I think, is actually, it's actually a pretty good start. If you've never played Age of Sigmar, Age of Sigmar is the high fantasy version of Warhammer. It is also known as Warhammer Fantasy. Age of Sigmar is sort of the rebooted, more skirmishy version of that, although they have brought back the regimented version with the square bases where, you know, you line up in columns, you know, like you always see in like the old military. They're bringing that back as Warhammer Old World, I believe. But Sigmar is Sigmar did bring back some popularity to it, and the Stormbringer magazine is a pretty good way of doing it. You might know that Age of Sigmar was how I did the Battle Honor speedrun, was by using the starter set. Technically, as long as these magazines are out, that speedrun cost drops by a ton. It drops down to like $12 between you and a friend if you do it this way, or it's well, anyway, let's get into it. So Stormbringer is very similar to Imperium. It's literally just Imperium magazine but Age of Sigmar, based on Age of Sigmar 3rd edition, which has the starter set of the Stormcast Eternals and the Cruel Boys. And ironically enough, in a cruel twist of fate, they are like the least popular armies in the series. I mean, Stormcast are kind of everywhere, but they have a bit of a stigma associated with them obviously being inspired by the Space Marines, by being, you know, big and tough and all of that, and just kind of holding a lot of presence, rather than things like Cities of Sigmar that field a lot. And the Cruel Boys are a bit unpopular because they're not very Warcrafty orcs. They're not very Games Workshop orcs. Like, Games Workshop orcs have a look to them where they're these kind of big, funny gorilla men who go "Wah!" a whole lot. The Cruel Boys look a bit more like discount Lord of the Rings orcs, and they don't really have a lot of fans. They're relatively new, to my understanding. They came out with 3rd edition, so part of it is they haven't been around for too long. So yeah, you actually get a lot. This is over the course of 80 issues. Each issue, except for the first one, is $14, so calculate that in your head as you will. But you do get a lot of stuff. You get a lot of models, you get a pretty decent number of heroes, you get terrain. A lot of it's going to be at a steep discount. Some of the sets come piecemeal over the course of several magazines, but for the most part, the discount is about 50%. According to Fohammer, it's about 48%, but there's also the premium edition. Of course, you're also getting the magazines, and the magazines come with additional things like battle mats and rulers and dice and all the stuff you need to play. You also get bonuses by signing up through Hachette. So let's take a look at the Hachette site here. So you do get some free gifts. Oh, one of them, if you sign up through the special program, is a gut ripper boss you can't get anywhere else. I've had this thing for over a year. So the Kohdok Gut Ripper Boss is a model that I acquired last year for my store's anniversary. It was one of the anniversary minis they were selling. The other one was an Inquisitor, which I did not buy. I got this guy because I did not know that gameplay-wise, he's just an ordinary Gut Ripper boss. And here's the thing, is the Gut Ripper set, even the cheap ones, come with a Gut Ripper boss. So this guy's kind of redundant. He's no Call Yacht Grendok. Call Yacht Grendok is a figure that he's a Call, which is its own standalone figure. You can just wedge this guy into your army. You get him for about the same price as a regular copy of Uther the Destined. In fact, I think he might actually be a little bit cheaper, but you can use him as a leader model. Calls are very important for leadership models. You can just wedge him into your army. This guy is kind of redundant. So I imagine the reason they're doing him as a freebie for signing up before November 15th is they have a lot of him lying around and they need to get rid of him. Enter a new world, build your hobby, and begin the hobby of a lifetime. So, like I said, it's Stormcast Eternals and Cruel Boys. Cruel Boys are technically a subclass of the Auric War Clans, which are destruction. They're pretty easy to acquire. Stormcast have had 3 editions to accumulate stuff. They are super easy to acquire. Although I'm pretty sure most of the stuff they feature in this set is going to be those models that debuted in 3rd edition. So sadly, we're not going to have a Lord Relictor. We're not going to have any Dracoths or anything like that. So be ready for that going in. Anyway, so another thing that they do is the premium. Now, for the Imperium magazine, the premium setup was not terribly appealing, mainly because the things you got for going premium, which was paying an extra $3 an issue or an extra $12 a month, was you basically got a sprue out of the combat patrol, which is kind of okay, but it's like nothing too extreme. Here they went kind of nuts. The first premium you get, it is Krondys, Son of Dracothion. That is the first one you get in issue 15. So in box 5, I believe, because the first box is just issues 1 and 2. Issue 1 is half price. Issue 2 is free if you do it like this. But then afterwards, it's an extra $3 on top of price. So you're paying for, you get 18 issues by the time you hit box 4, but you're only paying the extra 3 for 16 of them. Krondys is a $170 set. Krondys is an amazing set. Krondys is very good. He is the only monster that Stormcast Eternals have access to. Monsters are very, very good in Age of Sigmar. And, you know, getting that, you know, by magazine 16, you're spending like less than $40 or about $40. Yeah, a little over $40, like about 45, less than $50 for a $170 kit. That's pretty incredible. Number 2 that comes with 33, which is also includes issue 34, so another 16 issues, is the Fist of Gork. Let me double check. What was his name? Gordrak Fist of Gork. That is, it's a little weird that they went with an Ironjawz centerpiece rather than the Cruel Boys centerpiece, especially since the Cruel Boys centerpiece is also really good, just like Krondys. This is the Ironjawz centerpiece. He's still technically Auric War Clans, but it's still not bad. It's still about $50 for a $130 kit. So honestly, these first 2 premium goodies are not bad. They're actually, I'd say, worth the price of entry. The other 2 afterwards are basically like partial kits. They're piecemeal kits. They come with a big guy, a leader guy, and a little trooper. Although this one, the Dankhold Troggoth only comes with a big guy and some troops. These I don't think are as appealing. I mean, they do kind of add up to be around the same price as Gordrak, but considering you can get them piecemeal, that seems like the kind of thing you'd want to save your money on. To my understanding, you can opt out of premium whenever you want to. So once you get like Krondys or get Krondys and Gordrak, you can then opt out and just get the normal subscription from now on. Honestly, that's probably how I would do it. Moving on, we of course have Kohdok the Gut Ripper Boss because they're desperately trying to get rid of it. So our pre-order bonuses. So our first delivery, we get the free issue 2. That saves us $17 if we go premium, or $14 if we go normal. The first 3 issues of Stormbringer, I'll talk about it. Just the first 3 on their own, you can probably find them at your local Warhammer. Imperium was incredibly difficult to find in the wild because people would often buy them up. You would also even have straight up scalpers whose whole like modus operandi is to go to the stores and buy them all up. Sometimes conspiring with the people at like Barnes and Noble to make it all happen. Ordering it through this service is honestly the easiest way to do it, to make sure that you get what you want, plus you get all these bonuses. The bonus issue 2 is pretty nice. The first 3 issues form like the $50 starter set at a $15 discount. Add in this thing and you're getting the entire starter set for like $21. All like normally $50, you get it for $21. You're also, of course, getting the modeling kit in your second delivery. On the British version, I believe it actually comes in the first delivery, which actually makes sense. Let me see, where are we? They have the bonuses somewhere. Yeah, they got it in the first delivery, which makes sense because it means, like, the first delivery with the 2 magazines, you're shipping people these sprues of miniatures, but not the kit to cut them out. That, I think, is a little weird. Also, the British version gets a Citadel paint rack. If given the choice between this and Kohdok the Gut Ripper Boss, I'd go for the paint rack anytime. Anyway, getting back into it, the third delivery comes with a binder. The Imperium magazines are actually like, you're supposed to like tear them apart and organize them into sections, and they're already hole punched. So you get the binder there, so you can store that. Like you get 4 more, and I think you're charged for the additional 3 that you get. But having the binders, it's divided into like collect, paint, play, and read, I think. So basically you get a binder for each section. A lot of people have apparently done this before. Of course, you have Kohdok if you pre-order. Whoop-de-freaking-do. It's he only has 1 build option. It's not like you're opening up more of your gut rippers to special weapons and stuff like that. He's literally pointless. 4th delivery, you get a mug. Ooh, okay. So, I mean, a mug's not bad. Those are, what, like 20 bucks? And it's a freebie. Your 4th delivery is the one right before you get Krondys. Krondys would be delivery 5. So not bad. And your 6th delivery, you get a paint set. So the paint brushes, they're okay. You're also going to be getting paint brushes in the individual issues, like issue 4, I believe, has paint brushes. So it does come with like the instructions. It comes with lore. It comes with building instructions. It's a pretty neat thing to have. So here we are. Okay, so we have all 4 issues here. So you get the first issue. It comes with a couple of models. It comes with I think it's the small battle mat you got with the regular one. I'm not sure which of these other issues contain the larger battle mats, because that was something about Imperium, was it came with more battle mats. So by accumulating the additional issues of the magazine, I actually got like a good 1,000 point size battle mat before I dropped. The idea is that you have a full like ginormous battlefield by the end, which is like 4 posters you can tape together. So issue 2 contains the 10 gut rippers. Issue 3 includes the 5 Vindictors. So between that and the Knight Arcanum and Kill a Boss with Stabgrot you get in issue 1, that is literally the starter kit. That's everything you get in the starter kit for, at worst, $15 off. Because that's 1 at $7, 2 at $14. That is like $35. That's pretty good. And you can get issue 2 for free with the subscription, so that drops it down to $21. So pretty good deal. And issue 4 comes with the paints and brushes. It used to be that they would pack paints along with the sprues, but I guess the paints, because of their odd shape, were like damaging the sprues, would be my guess. That is why they now have the paints as separate things. And it's pretty killer. You get gold, silver, blue, and green. So you're getting colors that you use. It comes with Cantor Blue that they use with the Stormcast Eternals for the Hammers of Sigmar. I use Relic Guard Blue because I think it contrasts better against the Retributor Armor Gold. But anyway, we have more information about the subscriptions and the perks and all that. So let's actually take a look at what we're actually getting in Stormbringer. We already took a look at the previews there. We have the premium war gear with Krondis and the big boss here, although he has it listed wrong. He never goes back and corrects these once he gets the proper information. He talks about how you get Andrasta from the Dominion box. I actually have the Dominion box, so this will allow me to accumulate even more minis from that. But Andrasta is not very good. Killaboss on Great Nashtooth is good, but Andrasta is not. So let's actually take a look. So, like I said, I think it's worth it to go premium until issue 16. And I would say go at least until like issue 22. You get a lot of value for the first roughly third of this whole magazine. Then it kind of bottoms out. I guess they kind of have to make sure they draw people in properly, get them, you know, buying the issues so the stores will order more. But moving on. So yeah, I can see how they have it divvied up here. Like the first delivery is just the first couple of issues. So you get issue 15 in delivery 5 and issue 33 in delivery 9. So, you've also like worn out all the bonus gifts and stuff like that. So, yes, there is an exclusive miniature. It's a Praetor Prime, which is unfortunately the same about level of excitement as Kohdok here. Imperium had a Captain, which was very exciting. A Captain is an important model to get. I mean, this thing has some good stuff in it, but a Praetor Prime, I don't think people even really run Praetors because the Stormcast are so tanky already that a bodyguard really doesn't do much. So anyway, let us get to the start. Okay, so issue 1 comes with Knight Arcanum and Killaboss with Stabgrot, and they suck. It's a good thing they're on a half-price issue because they are like the worst units in their respective collections, and it's mostly because there are units that are just straight up better. Knight Arcanum is a caster. You can use it to cast a spell. You can use it to dispel your opponent's spells. It can cast an endless spell. It actually prevents endless spells from entering her nearby area. The problem is she is up against Knight Incanter, who comes with a free get-out-of-jail, free counterspell coupon in his pocket. Knight Incanter is basically the same character, but with a free guaranteed dispel, and you can't really fight that. Killaboss has a couple of neat tricks. First of all, you can give him a shield, which increases his toughness by 1, which is very good. And his Stabgrot can give him like a weak little bonus attack and also take a blow for him, which, if it's a heavy blow that does a lot of damage, is not a bad thing to have. It might even take 2 blows for you if you're lucky. Killaboss also has a trick where, so you have things called Hobgrots for Cruel Boys, and they are basically screening units. You'll see them, I believe, in issue 10, but what they do is they basically drown out an area with numbers to deny your opponent areas or places to go. The problem is they are miserable cowards and have like really, really bad morale boosts. So if they fail a morale check, a lot of them are going to run away, but Killaboss keeps that number down to 1. No more than 1 Hobgrot can run away. The problem with Killaboss is that we have Killaboss on Great Nashtooth, and Killaboss on Great Nashtooth is quite literally Killaboss with looks and money. He's got better speed, he's got better stats, he still has that trick that keeps allies from running away, but he's just a better unit in every single way. So you can't really run Killaboss when Killaboss on Great Nashtooth exists. So, like I said, it's a good thing that these units are in the half-price starter set because they're both awful. These are also the leader characters from the cheaper starter set, so you have those leaders there. They're actually on the same sprue, yeah. They're actually on the same sprue, so that's why they are shipped together. Issue 2, 10 times Gut Rippers. So, it's the Dominion / starter box Gut Rippers. They're not the ones out of the box. They are the starter edition ones, so they only have the wicked stickers. Gut Rippers are fine. They're battle line. They got the lethal damage. They're fine. They're perfectly okay. Same with issue 3, which contains 5 Vindictors. I know it has a picture of 10 here, but the way they make 10 Vindictors is they throw in the same sprue twice. So you're getting 1 sprue of Vindictors, which are priced the same as Gut Rippers. They literally have twice as much health as the Gut Rippers. They have better toughness than the Gut Rippers. Pretty straightforward. You're saving a little bit. You're saving a decent amount by getting them this way rather than getting them by the starter. Not much, but hey, with these first 3 issues, you have the contents of the Recruit Edition. Minus, I think the Recruit Edition also comes with like a little playmat, but you got the dice. I believe it also comes with the rulers so that you can play for $15 off, or for even more off if you go the Hatchet path. Issue 4 comes with those paints I mentioned, along with a basic brush. So, something that they do is they do teach you how to paint. They do not have you prime your models in advance, though, so be ready for that. It's going to involve a technique of very slowly pulling and stretching layers of paint over the models. A lot of people prime it. I think it's fine to prime it. Issue 5, so that is our Praetor Prime. Issue 5 was also where we got the Captain in the Imperium magazine. Like I said, Praetor Prime is not as exciting as Captain, because a Captain's a $30 model. A Praetor Prime is one part of a kit that came in, that comes in the Extremis edition. So you will eventually also get the contents of the I believe it's the Command edition, which is like the upgraded version. And the Command and Recruit edition are actually designed to be complementary. They're actually designed to work together. You buy the Warrior edition, and if you like it, you buy the Command edition. The Harbinger. The Harbinger. I called it the Command edition. The Command edition's from 40K. The Harbinger set. So you buy the starter set. If you decide you like it, you buy the Harbinger or the Extremis set to really get going, and they're designed to blend together. Praetor Prime is... You get a Praetor Prime with any set of Praetors you buy. Not too exciting. Issue 6, we get Hobgrots. I described them before. 10 Hobgrots is pretty nice. I believe you get another set of Hobgrots. They're a good screening unit. They are very cheap for how many you get. They're designed to swarm the field en masse. The Killaboss, or better yet, the Killaboss on Great Gnashtooth, is designed to keep them from running away. Very good screening units. Oh, Hobgrots. The Dominion edition, it boasts about how you get 60 figures in here. 20 of them are those darn Hobgrots. A clean third of them are these annoying little guys. So, I'm a little sick of them. How about you? So, issue 7 comes with Corax White and Catachan Flesh. Catachan Flesh is fine. It's a flesh tone, and Corax White is a white. So, we don't have black yet. We had a Bad in Black by issue 4 in Imperium magazine. This is what is known as a flop issue. So there's a reason they space them out, so you get like 3 of something cool, and then you get like a flop issue with paint in it. And that's why they do it in runs of 4, because otherwise everybody would opt out of the paint set. So this might be one of those. So issue 8, though, gives us Lord Imperatant. This is the Stormcast Eternals commander from the Harbinger and Extremis editions, and he is actually very good. He is incredibly cheap to find online, not as cheap as Arcanum and Killaboss, but he's still a very good figure. What he's designed to do is he combines with units called Annihilators, and what Annihilators do is they drop from the sky in a fiery kaboom and charge at your enemies. And what Lord Imperatant does is, normally to deploy the Annihilators from the sky, they cannot be any closer than 9 inches from any enemy units. Lord Imperatant says once per turn, they get to be 2 inches closer. They can be within 7 inches of an enemy model when they land. And this has 3 pretty nasty knock-on effects. 1, if your opponent wants to try to screen out your Annihilators to keep them from landing in good positions, they have to screen 7 inches rather than 9 inches, which is a lot harder to do. 2, the Annihilators land in a big earth-shaking kaboom, like I said before, and it has a range of 10 inches. If it can land within 7 inches of enemy units, there's a good chance they can get more things in the blast. And 3, nailing the follow-up 7-inch charge is way easier than nailing a 9-inch charge. It is literally twice as possible, you are twice as likely to nail a 7-inch charge than a 9-inch charge. So Lord Imperatant is fantastic for like meme teams where you're gonna make it rain men. You know, it's just gonna be raining men from the skies. I think some people call it the Sundowner strategy because they come crashing in like Metal Gear bosses. Lord Imperatant's very, very good. He's no Krondus, he's no Lord Relictor, but he does have a pretty solid meme strategy connected to him, so he's absolutely worth grabbing. Issue 9 comes with Swamp Kala Shaman with Potgrot, and this is a top-tier Cruel Boys unit. It's one of the best units in the game. It's, a lot of people would say, the best Cruel Boys unit. It is a wizard like Knight Arcanum, but unlike Knight Arcanum, it's actually good. What the Swamp Kala Shaman can do is it can give a nearby unit a potion that can either cause its... Cruel Boys have a trick where if they land a hit on a 6, they just deliver a lethal wound automatically. Swamp Kala Shaman can either double that chance or increase their saves by 1. And it doesn't have to make a spell casting check in order to do it, which is very, very good. It basically gets that for free. And it can have its Potgrot, you know, swivel around. They say it has to be like within 3 inches of the unit, but the Potgrot counts as part of the Swamp Kala Shaman and can be up to 1 inch away from the Swamp Kala Shaman. So it's more like 5 inches out if you use the Potgrot as like a pivot. It's good to give like the Bolt Boys and things like that to give them that extra lethality. Top tier unit, very, very good. Also relatively cheap to find. It's on the same sprue as Lord Imperatant, although that sprue can actually be snapped in half, which is, I guess, what they've done here, but solid unit, really good. Issue 10, we get Xandire's Truth Seekers. This is a bit of an oddball one here. This is actually an Underworlds kit. It has rules for use in the game, but it's not very good. It's way too small to really do any, like, meaningful damage to it. What this is more about, this is a better unit for Warhammer Underworlds, and it's a real shame that they do not include the deck with it. This is a set that's normally 40 bucks, but a set for Underworlds that includes both the minis and their deck is 42. So give us the cards, you cowards. Moving on, we have, now we're really starting to hit the bangers though with issue 11. This is why I say it is absolutely worth to do it at least until the end of box 18, the end of box 5 with issue 18. Issue 11 includes the Beast Skewer Killbow. This is the Cruel Boys' only artillery that they have, and it is pretty good. It does damage based on the target it's shooting at. You roll damage dice equal to the number of wounds the target has. So if this thing can line up a shot and hit its measly 2 up to hit something with 16 wounds, then that thing is going to be taking 16 hits. Or you roll 16 dice and each one that comes up a 5 up is a wound plus 2. So it's minimum 2 damage. This thing, it's pretty darn good. Although it's got nothing on issue 12, Stormstrike Chariot. This is one of the best units that the Stormcast Eternals have access to. It is known as an anvil, and what an anvil is it's a unit that, you know, you send it marching up to a point, it then parks there and dares its opponent to try to knock it off. An anvil is something that can take a lot of punishment. It is something that can form a substantial blockade, and the Stormstrike Chariot is very, very good at being an anvil. To my understanding, it can also be a hammer. You have the hammer and the anvil. The hammer is something like the Annihilators that you send in to just mess up your opponent. Lots of damage, lots of punch. An anvil is something that can take a lot of punishment, like the Stormstrike Chariot. Very, very good. And of course, Unlucky 13 is a couple of paints. It's another white. It's Mephiston red. Classic colors. Again, you're losing a bit of value there because these pots are not expensive at all. 14 brings it back up with Manskewer Bolt Boys, but the big thing with these Bolt Boys is they are not the Bolt Boys out of the Dominion box. I think the Bolt Boys were attached to, yeah, they're attached to the, they're attached to the, Kill a Boss on Great Gnashtooth. No, this is legitimately the box set you buy in the store for $55 to $60. So you got like the big guy with the banner on it. You have, it's a different variation. So if you got the Dominion box with the Gnashtooth, these Bolt Boys are literally an addendum to it. You will have no two figures be the same. So great for army building. It's a great kit. Bolt Boys are solid. They're one of the best units for Cruel Boys. So like I said, you're getting a lot of hits, a lot of bangers on this lineup here. And then finally, issue 15, we get the Praetors I mentioned before. They're not great, but this does round out our Harbinger edition. It's also the issue that comes with Krondys. So Stormcast Eternal's getting a lot of value out of issue 15. But with the addition of the Praetors, you now have the complete Harbinger edition, I believe, minus the battle mat. But yeah, that's all of it. And like I said, because you've been getting these for a lot less, so that is 15 issues at about $14 a piece. That is 150 plus another 60. So that's about $200 you spent so far, or about $240 if you also got Krondys. The Harbinger edition is $99, but you've also gotten Bolt Boys. You've also gotten the Stormstrike Chariot. You've also gotten the Killabo. You've gotten the Zandire's Truth Seekers. You've also gotten all the paints. You've gotten the Killaboss and Knight Arcanum, even though they're not very good, but they're not in the Harbinger edition. So the $99, you've gotten way more than that by issue 15. But we have 3 issues to go on release number 5. And we also get the Primal Lair. This is actually something for Warhammer Underworlds again, but it's a special terrain set for the Warhammer Underworlds mats. Now, normally these mats have areas you're not allowed to enter, but you mark those with like little tiles. But this set is like actual physical blockades that you can put down so that there's no forgetting any of that kind of placement. It's a nice little set. You're probably not really going to want to use it for a battlefield, but if you have Underworlds or if you buy the starter set, these are handy little things to have, so not bad. Issue 17, more paints. It's Abaddon Black and Agrax Earthshade. Abaddon Black is, it's black. It's a perfectly good color. Agrax Earthshade is their mid-tone shade paint. So you have your cool tone Nuln Oil, which is something you use for a wash to really, they like go into the crevices and really make the detail pop. Nuln Oil is your cold. It's very like straight up black. Reichland Flesh Shade is your warm tone. It's very red, very orange, very rich. Agrax Earthshade is right in the middle, so it is like the safe pick to shade with. Reichland is if you want really bold golds, is if you want really lively looking flesh. Nuln Oil is to make things look cold and metallic. And like I said, Agrax is right in the middle. And finally we have issue 18, Da Cunnin Crew. So this is another Underworlds thing. They're giving us a lot of Underworlds, but they're not giving us the cards, which is, again, I say weird. They should at least give us a way to acquire the cards, right? So Da Cunnin Crew, so both sides are getting an Underworlds warband, and we're getting Underworlds terrain, but we're not getting the cards to actually play Underworlds with, which I find to be massively distracting. Oh well, maybe they'll change their minds at some point and give us a way to get the decks for that extra $2. So here, if you want, this is not a bad time to drop your premium membership if you've bought a premium membership, because you got Krondys. That's a $170 set for about for less than $50. That is absolutely worth it. If you're a Stormcast Eternals fan, I'd say go one more box, but you're pretty good here on premium. If you want to like cancel your subscription entirely, I'd say go one more box, because not only do you get the brushes, you get what I think is roughly the peak contents of this box. Box 19 comes with Gardas Steel Soul. He is a very good unique unit. Specifically for Paladins, gives them a lot of good options. Gardas is very good if you're running a lot of Paladin units. Warhammer Stormbringer 20 gives us the Marsh Kraloth Slogoth, who is widely considered the absolute worst Cruel Boys character, and he takes up 2 issues. A bit of a bummer. He is large and impressive, although a lot of people joke that he's basically a Gloomspite Gitz character. Not the best unit, but hey, it's large and impressive. You can pretend he's Killaball and Great Gnashtooth. And 22 comes with Averland, Sunset, and Griff Charger Gray. So we get a pot of contrast paint, which tends to be a bit pricier. We finally have yellow. So we have red, blue, and yellow. We have white and black and gold and silver. We do not have a copper or a gray, but I assume those are coming up. It's not the most detailed group we have here. So this, issue 22, couldn't blame you if you made delivery number 6 your final one. Would not surprise me at all. If you wanted to cut it here, you're perfectly good. Although if you want to get... is it Gordrak? Gordrak, the fist of the fist of Gork. By all means, keep going. It's not going to be long before this thing really starts to kind of shed its value. 23 comes with Lord Aquilor. He's okay. He's certainly large and impressive, but he's okay. He's no Lord Imperatant. He's no Lord Relictor. He's no Krondus. Not bad though. Stormbringer 24. We get the Loon Boss. So this is for Gloomspite Gits, which are actually a different faction from Cruel Boys. Really, I know Cruel Boys don't have a lot of options, but really, we're switching already. 25 comes with the Azurite Shattered Plaza, but only the Fountain. So we get some more Battlefield Detritus. Not bad. And number 26 comes with paints. I don't know what paints they are. They're not listing them here on Foehammer. So, for all the help that is. 27 is Griffhounds. Griffhounds, they're not great. They're better on units that create them, but not so great here. We're starting to get a bit of that diminishing returns here. 28 comes with Zarbag's Gits. Another Underworlds team without the decks. Give us the decks, you cowards. But it's more Gloomspite Gits. We have 29, which is paints. That's paint. That's 2. Oh no, that's okay. That's no, paint 1, paint 2. So 3 issues and another one with paints. Then we get Warhammer Stormbringer 30, which gets us Hobgrot Slittas. And Cruel Boys fans, I hope you've had fun, because issue 30 is the last time we see anything Cruel Boys related until literally the final 2 issues. I mean, I know there are not a lot of Cruel Boys sets because they're still fairly new, but couldn't we have at least gotten like another squad of Gut Rippers so we could fill out the battle line a little bit? Yeah, this is kind of where the magazine really falls off, because after this and after the Vigilers here, and I believe one more squad of Vindictors at a bit further down, it is going to change to a completely different magazine, and it starts here with the Shootas, so we have more Gloomspite Gits. It looks like it's the full squad of 20, if what I see here is to be believed, but it's not Cruel Boys anymore. 33, this is the one that gets us the Fist of Gork, and the Night Judicator with Griffhounds. He's a fun guy. He turns Vigilers into battle line. He gets Griffhounds that can run around for free. He's okay. He's no Lord Imperatant. He's no Lord Relictor. He's no Krondus. But we only really have... This is like the last thing we're going to get for Stormcast Eternals until like issue 70 thereabouts. Because now it's Sylvaneth. We are no longer doing any more... I think we have one more Stormcast Eternals and zero Cruel Boys for like the rest of the magazine, like up until issue 70. Like we're at 36. 37 gets us Fungoid Cave Shaman, so another Gloomspite Gits. Warhammer 37, so another Underworlds kit, more Sylvaneth, and it's the Vindictors. So they get a second battle line for the Stormcast Eternals, but not another set of Gut Rippers for the other ones. I think maybe it's because the Vindictors, you genuinely can build 10 different models out of the 2 kits done twice. Like you can have them with the helmet on or the helmet off. The primes can be different figures. You can build the flag guy as a different guy. So you genuinely can build like 10 different figures. But honestly, they need a bit more for the thing. And that's the last Stormcast Eternals we see for a long time. So we're back to paints. We have the Spirit of Durtu, which is Sylvaneth again over the course of 2 issues. We have another Underworld's Warband for Gloomspite Gitz. We have more Sylvaneth, and it's changed to a completely different magazine. So here we're at diminishing returns. Unless you're a huge Gloomspite Gitz fan, or you really want to do Sylvaneth, if you were trying to do like Stormcast Eternals and Cruel Boys, you're done. You're done. There's nothing else here for you. Sylvaneth. Issue 47, and we finally get something from the Extremist edition. This is the Realmscape Nexus Siphon, which is included in the Extremist edition along with some others. We have some more Gloomspite Gitz, we have some more Sylvaneth, Gloomspite Gitz, and then we have some Caradron just kind of out of the blue. I think we have 3 things of Caradron, 4 things of Caradron, more Gloomspite Gitz, and some more terrain from Extremist. So you will have Extremist by the end, but after issue 33, there's not really much else for you if you wanted to get those first 2 armies. They just kind of abandon it. I mean, if you want to build Gloomspite Gitz, that's great. And then they just have a giant in here for reasons. An Ale Guzzler, who I think was considered like the worst of the giants. Another Caradron, another Gloomspite Gitz, more terrain, 66, more pain, 67. 67! We finally get Vanquishers, and we only get 5. The problem is you need 10 Vanquishers in order for it to sing. So, yeah, this a Mega Boss at 68, that's okay, but it's Iron Jaws now out of the blue. We get more of the Extremist edition. I think this finishes out the Extremist edition with number 69. Nice. And then we get some Iron Skull boys, but only Ard boys, I think, yeah. But you only get 5 instead of the 15 you normally get. So at this point, they just have like a splash of Iron Skulls of Iron Jaws for reasons, I guess. 72. We're finally back in business. Lord Commander Batian Cartelos. This is what they like to do, is they like to have a bunch of really good stuff in the early editions, and then there's like this big stretch where there's kind of nothing. And then like at the very end, they try to bring back the big powerful units that people want, like the leaders and stuff. Like, was Gilliman, I think, like in the final issues of Imperium, I think, or it's like a big truck or something. Batian Cartelos, he's okay. He's no Lord Relictor. He's no Lord Imperaton. He's no Krondys. 73, we get more Ard boys. Oh, that's it. The Iron Skulls boys are another Underworld. So there's a lot of Underworld sets without any of the decks. So now we just have the 5 regular Ard boys instead of the 15 that come in the box. I guess that does round it up to 20 if you buy a box of them. Still not as thrilling as a lot of the stuff we get. We get another Guardian Idol, which is kind of redundant. We get another Iron Jaws unit. We get the War Chanter. And then we get the Stormdrake Guard, which I believe comes in 3 pieces for like some of the final issues. So this is like our big money thing. Stormdrakes are pretty good. Stormdrakes are actually very good. I don't think they're quite as good as Dracoths, which are nowhere to be seen. There's no Annihilators in here either. That was also kind of strange to not have any Annihilators in there, even though you do get Lord Imperaton. Dracoths are battle line in Hammers of Sigmar, and that makes Hammers of Sigmar actually really good. I call it Clown Car, but with dragons. It's basically that. And then issues 79 and 80, which gives us Swamp Boss Scumdrek, although he has an alternate build which converts him into a non-heroic unit, which actually makes him better. But yeah, literally the Cruel Boys kind of come back at the end here. This guy costs as much as one of these deliveries, so cut it at issue 30 or cut it at issue 33. So here's the thing. I would not blame you for dropping after issue 22. I would genuinely be astonished if you kept going after issue 34. I do wish there is a way to start part way in. Like, you couldn't get the premium, like you have to get the premium stuff from the start, but if you could opt in, like, at the issues that start to get the Gloomspite Gitz, that start to get the Sylvaneth, without having to go to the store, I think this would probably be a better system. I'm not sure quite how that works. I know like the bonus items are based on deliveries, so I don't know if they let you start in a different position. It would be great if they did. But like I said, the early issues, phenomenal value. They get you so much stuff that you can use. They're good if you already have a collection. They're good if you don't. But after issue 34, it really collapses in on itself. You're not getting any more Stormcast. You're not getting any more Cruel Boys. You're getting a lot of issues that are just 2 paints, although he doesn't highlight which issues come with other war gear, such as additional battle mats or dice or rulers or things like that. So that might be something to consider. I'll have to take another look at this. But like I said, great value through issue 22. Like, absolutely phenomenal. Even the premium edition with you get like Krondis and stuff like that, absolutely worth it. About $250 in, and you've got yourself the entirety of the Harbinger box, plus a couple of heavy units, plus a couple of kind of bonus Underworld's warbands, plus Krondis. Absolutely worth it. Once you get up to 34, you get a few more good guys. You fill out your Cruel Boys, except for Scumdrek. You get the Iron Jaws centerpiece for the 130 centerpiece, which is pretty nice. You have some good stuff out of there, but then you're done. Not really much else you can benefit from there. But yeah, grab the early issues, get the other subscription, go for it. No joke, I switch off my camera and my box 1 arrives. So here they are, my issue 1 along with my freebie issue 2. Although this issue 1 actually feels pretty substantial. So let's see what we got in here. And this is the half price like starter one. So we of course have our pitiful little units here. We get 6d6, which are always nice to have around. We have our bases, 2 40s, 1 for each leader, and the 1 for the Stabgrot. So, pretty straightforward thing. Oh, we actually get like a full-on starting playmat. So, if you don't have a playmat or want to up how much you have, you got yourself a nice little start there. Although on the back, not sure what this is. The terrain is covered in circles for some reason, so gonna have to wonder what that's about. I assume it'll tell me in the magazine here. So we have our magazine. We have a checklist. So we actually have a checklist on everything we're getting. It doesn't have it related by issue, but it does have the full checklist for everything we're getting. So we have our full list of Stormcast Eternals that we went over before. We have our list of Cruel Boys along with the Iron Jaws and the Gloomspite Gets. But yeah, we're getting more Gloomspite Gets than we are Cruel Boys. And the Gloomspite Gets don't start until like issue 25. I have a poster, which includes like a nice big ad. This is supposed to be like the thing that draws you to the thing and draws you in. So it has all the issues. It has the changing mug. Has on here, Enter the Mortal Realms, comes with all the paints, and we have our nice big picture of everything there, and it's the cover of the book with Andrasta, also known as Madam Not Appearing in this magazine. So, lots of fun to be had there. The fact that it comes with like a full-on, like 500-point, like combat patrol size mat is still pretty nice, though. Ideally, we would get 3 more to eventually build a 2,000-point mat. And, of course, we have the contents of our magazine here. These are, like, sort of glued together. You're supposed to dismantle them by read, collect, build, paint, and play. You're supposed to, take them apart. I believe build and paint are supposed to go into the same thing. So let me see. Do they actually include the stat cards with this one here? So something that they will do. Oh, I see. So they've simplified movement, so you move between the rings for your starting game. So we have our assembly guides. We have some like lore styled pages, but it doesn't look like it comes with the actual war scrolls, which is a bit of a bummer. Got some pretty splashy artwork though, so this is definitely a lot of fun if you want to really get into the lore and stuff like that. But a bit of a shame it doesn't actually come with the war scrolls for the characters. I imagine we get those later down. Oh, they have like cut out wound tokens on here. So this is supposed to be like a special sheet. So the Imperium first issue actually came with like a tiny little mat that included wound tokens on it. You're actually supposed to rip this out and cut it out for the wound tokens you're using, although a lot of people just use dice. You can just use dice. So yeah, there it is, another look at Stormbringer issue 1. And issue 2 is kind of more the same. It's the full plunge, the full spread of 10 gut rippers with all their bases, and you know, it'll be nice to double up on what I already have. So yeah, there you have it.